know if you see all that rain falling off there or not, but Lordy mercy, I just got out here at Fort Quigley a few minutes ago, and it's 10 o'clock, 10:15. Lordy mercy. And again, my back is absolutely giving me a mortal fit. It hurts like crazy. Disc is out. So I called out my good friend, my buddy, Dr. Vince's office down at the VA. He's kind of hard to get in to see, but he said come down this afternoon at 3 o'clock. Whew, you better believe I'll be there. He'll work me in. Man, that pain is unbelievable. Yeah, you'll get me fixed up just in time for the next 3 days, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Are some of the best days of the whole month as far as solar periods are concerned for deer movement. And so I would like to spend virtually the whole day for the next 3 days out here in the Quigley. I really would. Because this is going to be one of my best chances to get anything. So if I can get him to get that lower back in shape, which allow me to spend some time really hunting. Don't dare sit down. Oh, sitting down is, that's painful. That gets that back really stirred up. I stand up virtually all day. I'm tired. I get tired just standing and walking, moving around, but that's the only way I can keep the pain to a minimum is walk, is to move. Movement helps. And then when I lay down, I can only find one way that I can lay that's comfortable. So I lay there for 10 hours last night. Heavens to Betsy. We gotta get this straightened out. My favorite season is about gone. This is early muzzleloader season, in which I would really like to get into the reenactment part, the 1700 dress and hunting that way, and that sort of thing, using the dress and the accoutrements and everything from that time period. Hurt too bad to fool with that. I'm fortunate to be able to do anything as bad as I hurt. So anyway, Dr. Vince is going to get me fixed up here shortly. Get me some water started here for some hot chocolate on a cold, rainy morning. Several years ago, I saw statistics on how many of the total number of hunters, what percentage of them hunt mornings, what percentage hunt afternoon, what percentage of the hunters hunt all day or through the middle of the day. And I actually thought there'd be more morning hunters than there would anything, but it turns out there's actually more afternoon hunters than there is morning hunters, which sort of makes sense in a way. A lot of people will go hunt a little bit after work, whereas it's not really all that easy to go before work. So a lot of people hunt after work, I reckon. But anyway, the percentage of success was kind of amazing. Like I said, I thought there'd be more morning hunters than with afternoon hunters. And I definitely thought that their percentage of success would probably be higher, but it turns out not so. There's a few percentage points more afternoon hunters than there are morning hunters. But the amazing thing is their percent of success. The percent of success of afternoon hunters is quite a bit higher than morning hunters. Quite a bit higher, like 15-20%. It higher than the morning hunters. But the real the real mind blower was of all the, and I don't remember what percentages are morning and what percentage is afternoon hunters, but whatever it is, but the percent of the hunters that hunt all day or hunt during the midday is only 3%. Only 3% of all hunters hunt all day or hunt midday. Most of them are into this early morning, late afternoon, that's it. If it's not early morning, late afternoon, they're not hunting. But the 3%, only 3% of the hunters hunt midday or all day. But their percent of success, their percentage of success is 300% higher than the afternoon hunters. And afternoon hunters have about a 30% higher success ratio than morning hunters. So afternoon hunters enjoy about a 30% success ratio over morning hunters, and all-day hunters have a 300% higher success ratio than afternoon hunters. Well, I hunt all day. I'm all day. And my handle on most social networks is Midday Long Hunter. So I'm a long hunter. A long hunter. That's what the 1700s hunter that came over to this area was a long hunter. And I hunt midday, so I hunt midday and I hunt all day long. So it's Midday Long Hunter. And the success that I had, I probably kill more bucks between somewhere around 9-1 or 10-2, somewhere in that vicinity, 9-1, 10-2, somewhere around mid-morning to mid-afternoon or midday than any other time. And the major solar period today is 9:30 to 12:30. So it's 10:30 right now, so we're 1 hour into the major solar period. Most hunters will be back to camp right now, and that's when my antenna really picks up. So this midday often is very good, and especially now that the rut's coming on. So I'll stand here, walk around in circles, keeping this back limbered up and look for deer. It's raining right keen. But my woods runner is laying here in the dry, and he's happy for it too. Turkeys are out in the rain. A lot of times when it's raining, turkeys, for some reason, they seem to really like to get out in the open. Those turkeys, They've been huddled up there in that corner for quite a while now. I reckon they're just loafing around. That flock of turkeys is up on one hill up toward the north of Fort Quigley, and these are on the ridge south of. And there's several gobblers up there. There's five gobblers. Long-bearded gobblers walking around up there. So turkeys have been rather active today, but I'm still yet to see a deer. I was just sitting here looking around, and I wound up doing something you really shouldn't do out here at the Fort Quigley. I just looked up and there was a buck crossing the field here. I mean, just crossing right in front of me here. And I jerked the binoculars up real quick and looked at him, oh yeah, he's a pretty good buck. I started to get the rifle. Yeah, but I didn't. I thought, well, I'm going to put the old spotting scope on him right here to make sure that he's a pretty good buck, to get a better look at him. So I pulled it up. I actually found him in the spotting scope, and I started to tighten the control on the scope down, to hold it in place. It kind of went off target, so I went back in the scope and I didn't see him anymore. I thought, oh my goodness. So I got the binoculars out and look, he's gone. He's gone. I mean, he's standing right here in front of me. I probably would hold out for a little better buck. But if it'd been later in the season and I hadn't got one, I would try to get a better look at him. I'd just try to get the old rifle on him. I mean, he was right out there in the middle of cotton picking field, and scope flipped down off of him. You come back up and he said, well, where in the world to go? Pull your binoculars up and then just look around the field and took the binoculars and searched everywhere around. I don't know very well. How they can appear and disappear as fast, I don't know. When I first saw him, he's right out in the middle. I didn't see him come out of the woods or anything. I just look around and he's out in the middle right in front of me, crossing over. He's halfway across the field. When I saw him, he's right out in the middle. Which direction he disappeared to, I don't know. But disappear he did. So, she's still loaded. Still waiting. I don't have anything in the pan, and I won't until I really decide to shoot a deer. I won't put any private powder in it. But the bucks that you really like to see are when you look up and you see him, even if he's 300 yards away or whatever, the instant you see him, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Try to get that one, try to get that one. You don't have to even put the binoculars, let alone spot and scope on. That's the ones you really like to see. As soon as you see him, oh yeah. Haven't seen that one yet. It's a pretty good 8-pointer up there on top of the hill. I wasn't even going to try to get him. He's been out there a pretty good while. Been watching him and finally decided to might video him because I don't want to try to get him. He's a decent 8. He'll be a good deer next year. He's a young buck. today is Friday, last day of the early muzzleloader season. And Friday, Saturday, and Sunday are the 3 best days of the month as far as the solar periods are concerned. Usually that works out really well. I don't have this thing on a tripod, I'm just hand holding it, so that's hard to do. Not that much power on here. Anyway, I'm out here in the barn, at my shooting bench in the barn. I'm not even out at the Quigley. But I will spend a great deal of time, try to spend a great deal of my time in the Quigley the next 3 days. And I'll show you where the booger is from the shooting bench here in the barn. A little bit out of flintlock range, I do believe. But there again, even though, I mean, this is probably my favorite season, when you like history in the 1700s, like time period that I like for this part of the country, and that's when this part of the country was frontier, and I like to kind of get period correct, put your clothing and everything, and your guns, the clothing, your accoutrements, everything kind of correct for the time period. It's just a lot of fun. I mean, just doing that kind of foolishness adds a lot of fun to you. To your hunt, it puts a whole new dimension when you somewhat hunt period correct, But as you can see, I'm not period correct. I don't think Daniel Boone had thick, insulated camouflage clothing. But my gosh, when I get right here to the perfect time of the year, the absolute best time of the year, I hurt my cotton picking back. I could hardly move. I've been miserable, excruciating pain. I went down to see my good friend, Dr. Vincent, at the local VA. And he worked on me. And adjustments, give me a back brace, and recommended to take anti-inflammatory pills, and gave me this electric shock thing that whatever, pins or lens or whatever, I can't remember, whatever it is. Anyway, I'm sitting out here right now with that thing on my hip, just it's set me on fire. But if it'll help get rid of some of this pain. I snuck out here to the barn where I could get access to my spot and scope and everything from the house without that buck seeing me. I was managed to do it. You had to keep watching him, and because there's a lot of places I can be behind a building or something, but you have to expose yourself several times, and I kept a close eye on him with the binoculars, and when he would fresh drop his head, I'd move across those open spots and make sure he didn't see me moving. He's still up there, but he's all by himself. Solar period's later, a little bit later today, so I've got I ought to try to get that buck, but I'm not going to. I hurt too much to try to get him. He's going to have to be an exceptional buck for me to try to get him today. I got a pass on him. My buck just left the field, so I'm gonna get back to the house. I'm in. As you can see how I'm dressed. I slipped a jacket on, got my pajama bottoms on. I don't generally wear pajama bottoms, but I've got a pair. So I've slipped them on. House shoes, pajama bottom. I really look period correct for 1700s, I'll tell you that. It's the third buck that's been out on that hilltop this morning in the last little while. The solar period hadn't even started yet. But it is one of the best of the 3 days, the 3 best days this month. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So the solar period, in a monthly sense, has its better days and its not so good days. So Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. This is November here, mid-November. These are the prime 3 days of the year, of the month. But then the solar period also has the prime times of each day. Well, the prime times of the day hadn't even started yet. But I've already seen 3 bucks and a doe out right by the Quigley, and I'm standing right here in the door of the house right now. Now there's a buck and a doe up there at the top of the hill. Gracious day. There's a buck and a doe right up there. This is out the back door. Cotton picking bucks are moving around everywhere today. This is actually the last day of the regular muzzleloader, or early muzzleloader season. And I'm trying to get over a frigged up back. Oh. And one of the things is not to sit, get a stand, or walk. So it's 10 o'clock and I've been on my feet since 5 o'clock. Not sitting down. Lower back is sore. Gosh, I'm bloody. I'm sore as a bull, but at least not excruciating pain. Get everything situated. So if a deer does come by, I can get on him.
Acceptable. You know, they lost the contract, so they got all upset about that, but I never did figure out, you know, that should have been something the ATF or somebody like that got involved with some federal authority. They could go state to state and all this kind of stuff, but I couldn't do anything with it, so I don't know. I don't know what was going on.
When I'm gonna, while you've been talking there, I've got the camera set up, filming this little buck. So there will be, whenever I put this video up, there'll be you talking and this buck on here.
Oh,
Lord. He's just a little fella.
But you know, those the shell casings they used for those flares from this facility, they were like a brass artillery case.
I'm going to explain something.
Yep.
I'm on the phone right now talking to my my wonder working friend, Dr. Vincent, at the VA. So I've got the camera. I got the camera going, Doc.
Oh, that's funny.
I got the camera
We
going.
don't end up in a movie together.
Yeah, you're going. I've got at least two videos up that I'm talking about you.
Oh, that's funny.
That I'm talking about you, and I'll be doggone if you had you called and I got you on here, and it's at the same time I've got there's a buck up on the hill, so I'm videoing a little buck and talking to my lifesaver.
All right. Well, I do need to go. I just wanted to check in with you, see how you're doing.
I'm doing great, and let me tell you something. You'll never know how much I appreciate you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're a great doctor. A good guy. Appreciate it.
All right, man.
You take care of yourself. Have a good weekend, Doc.
All right, you too. Bye-bye.
Bye, buddy. Like I said, I am a fan of watching and paying attention to the solar period. And there's generally a couple of major solar periods and a couple of minor solar periods during the day. Major solar periods will last up to 3 hours, and the minor will last up to an hour and a half. Well, a lot of people, if you start watching the solar period, don't get in the habit of doing like what a lot of people do and just paying attention to the major solar period. Because you can have as much activity, you can have as much deer movement, or you can catch as many fish during a minor period as you can a major period. The difference in one can last a little longer. But just like today. But I tend to pay more attention to the majors too, because it's a longer time period that something's liable to move in. So yeah, like most people, I pay a lot of attention to the majors. And today is a good example of, I don't get too hung up on that. When I got up this morning, the minor period was gone. The minor period was already underway at daylight. And it was 10 o'clock before I could get out here to Quigley because of the deer that's in the field. There was 4 or 5 bucks out here in the field. Different bucks around there, and I didn't want to spook them off, coming from my house out here, so I waited till I didn't see any. And so when I came out here, the one I didn't see, I spooked anyway. I hadn't seen him, so I spooked him. Anyway, by 10 o'clock, I got out here at 10:30, and I've been here since 10:30. I've seen one buck. I'm 2 hours into the major solar period. I got an hour left, and so far I've seen one buck. There was a lot more activity this morning during that minor solar period than there was during the middle of the morning and afternoon during the major period. Now, if I was betting, I'd generally bet on that midday major solar period. But so far, that minor solar period this morning had quite a bit of activity, and the major here in the middle of the day hasn't had. Sort of the opposite of what I normally expect. But anyway, speaking of solar periods now, if you catch fish or if you see game during that early morning solar period, and particularly if a minor or any solar period, whether it be major or minor, coincides with a normal early morning or late afternoon movement, that's icing on the cake. That's even better. So after this morning's solar period coincided with daybreak movement, the minor, and there'll be another one this afternoon. But then, generally speaking, if there's activity during the early morning or the early solar period, or at daylight, there's there's activity. You don't generally expect to see much movement during the middle of the day. But if you see hardly any movement early in the morning, for heaven's sake, stay with it through the middle of the day, because there is a very good chance that you're going to have a good movement of either fish or deer, or whatever it is you're after, during the middle of the day. So this morning, there was a good movement. Early this morning, there has not been much of a movement during the middle of the day. So when this period is over, that time between the end of the midday solar period and the beginning of the late afternoon solar period, I'll go back to the house and do whatever it is need to be done there. Then I'll be back this afternoon for this afternoon's minor solar period. So I expect to see a good movement late this afternoon. I could be fooled, but there was a good movement this morning. I expect it to be a good movement this afternoon, because there has not been one during the middle of the day. So I'll hang around here a few more minutes, and then I'll come back late this afternoon. I just got out here to Quigley, and I had to wait on a couple of deer up here on the big mountain, the north facing, or the ridge facing to the north of the Quigley here. Wait for two deer to disappear. I didn't want them to spook them. And I come out, and there's one deer over here on the south ridge. And I had to maneuver around to figure out how to get out here without spooking it. Even though it's over there a ways, I still don't want to spook them. So I'm out here for the late afternoon minor solar period. Started at 4:15 and goes to 5:45 or to dark. 2 up here, 1 over here. Already out, but they're all done. Haven't seen a buck yet. We'll see. We'll see. We'll be here in the dark. There's a second deer right there. I think that it also is a doe, I think. The 2 does disappeared because of him. It's a pretty good buck. Oh crap. I had already decided that I wasn't going to try to get that buck. And it's a good thing too. If I was going to get him, if I was going to get that buck, he's way out of flintlock range. But I probably could have stalked within a little over 60 yards of him without any trouble, which is what I'd had to do. But about the time getting close to getting in position, that daggone delivery truck drove up. So I'm glad I decided not to try to get him. Cause he gone. I think I'm hopping down to the food plot. Huh. I reckon that's a doe. It's getting pretty much to the end of shooting light, both for the rifle and the camera. One doe still out up here. That's all I see right now. There was quite a bit of deer activity all together today. I might have seen probably, 5, 6, 7 bucks. One, maybe I should have took it, I don't know. Maybe I should have tried to get that 8-pointer. But every buck that I've seen so far this whole season, and today for sure, every buck that I've seen, you want to put the binoculars on. You look at him, then get the spot and scope out to really check him out good. I have not seen that buck that when you just look up and see him with your natural eyes, oh yeah, that's the one I want. You don't even bother to reach for the binoculars or anything else. When you see him, you don't know how big he is. You don't know how many points he's got or anything else, but you know that's the buck you want. It's a good buck. You know it when you see him. Haven't seen that buck yet. Haven't seen him yet. But today, right now, the early flintlock or early muzzleloader season is closing here today. Last few minutes of early muzzleloader. Regular rifle opens in the morning. And I didn't get to do much of my favorite way to hunt these things is with a flintlock in 1700 period, pretty much period correct attire, the clothing and all the accoutrements and all that. To get back into the mindset of the way the long hunters in this area when this was the wild frontier, when the western tip of Virginia, right out near Cumberland Gap and all that was frontier. The wild frontier, my favorite time in history. And I like to kind of, get in the mindset of that by putting on some of the paraphernalia, what have you, tripping around through the woods in moccasins and things like that, It's just a lot of fun. It's just a lot of fun, that's all. It really adds a whole lot to your hunt. To drag out a flintlock, your powder horn, your pouch, and your moccasins and your buckskins and your work shirt, and your hunting frocks and all that kind of stuff. Your hatchets, your tomahawks and all that. It's just fun. And I didn't do any of that the first half of the early muzzleloader season because I went up to the mountains with Jack. Pretty much just concentrating on camping with my buddy Jack. Didn't really hunt much at all. Got in the woods a little bit, but I didn't get serious hunting. I didn't drag out all your paraphernalia, 1700 paraphernalia. Didn't do any of that, and come back to the house and going to do that. I'll be doggone. Man, I messed up my back. Holy moly. I mean, I messed it up big time. I couldn't move. When I went down to the VA to see the chiropractor yesterday, I couldn't hardly move. I mean, I like to never got from the car to the building, from my van into the building. I take one step, about collapse, about hit the ground. Take steps about 2 inches long and hobbling along there and be all bent over. And first one person another come by and said, "Sir, can I get you a wheelchair?" Oh, God. Oh, it was bad. It was bad. And when I got to my friend Dr. Vince's office, I mean, I couldn't even hardly get down on the adjustment tables or anything. I mean, you can't describe how much pain I was in. Excruciating. But he finally managed to get me around there and whack me a little bit. And it's been a miserable night last night trying to sleep or lay still in a place in a position that didn't hurt too bad. And about 10 more hours laying in bed like that, and got up this morning and hardly done any sitting. It's mostly just standing up and walking. Just walking, moving around walking today. I've got that back limbered up a little bit to where I could at least enjoy coming out here and doing a little bit of hunting. No, all of it to Dr. Vince. So, Doc, I just want you to know, sir, I appreciate you more than you'll ever know. Heavens, Betsy, there's no way this old feller could have done any kind of hunting the way I was hurt. But you got me back amongst the active, let's put it that way. And this old 81-year-old fella, appreciate you. Appreciate you a lot. I just want to once again say thank you. As I put my binoculars up at the close of muzzleloader season, 3 deer up there in my food plot. All of them does, I reckon. I sure can't see a horn from here in this light, but at least there's 3 deer in the food plot. Oh, there comes another one. That one's a buck. That one's a buck. I don't think he's a big buck, but he's a mature buck. You can tell that from his body. He's a mature buck. What a way to end the flintlock season, or the early muzzleloader. He is definitely out of flintlock range, but it's a fair buck. One more time, Doc. Dr. Vincent. Thank you very much, sir. I'm enjoying my hunt thanks to you. Talk soon. Buck. And so ends the early muzzleloader season.